Thank you, Mr. Chairman. FEALAC hasn't got a very urgent agenda. And it is certainly not the most important meeting we have. And the distances are long. So many of us from Asia, before we came, asked ourselves whether it was worth the effort. And I remember when ASEAN foreign ministers were meeting in Manila, we were checking with one another. Are you going? Are you going? But somehow, something in our instincts tells us it is worth going. And you don't quite know what you may miss out if you don't go. And for those of us who have made this long journey to Brasilia, for me over 30 hours, I have no doubt that it was worth coming for. Not because the agenda is so dramatic or so critical to our national interests, but because, like our attendance at a trade fair or political fair, we meet people. We talk, we network, we learn, we see opportunities, and we act on them. So this morning, between Mercosur and the ASEAN foreign ministers, we had a very good breakfast. Tremendous spirit of warmth and wanting to work together. If we take a step back, today the Asian economy, the combined GDP, is comparable to that of North America and Europe. A little less perhaps, depending on whether you take nominal numbers or GDP. But there is no doubt that in 10, 20, 30 years' time, the Asian economy will be bigger than the North American economy or the European economy. If you look at Latin America, of all the continents, it has the best resource to people ratio. This great country, Brazil alone, I reckon, must have more arable land than any other country on earth. And if you add to it the vast pampas of Argentina and Uruguay and Paraguay and the other countries, it is so remarkably well endowed, whereas Asia is overpopulated. So there is a great complementarity. And sooner or later, with globalization, that complementarity must mean abundant opportunities for countries, for companies, for individuals. And I believe it is a sense of this that has prompted us to come here. It is this sense that has led Chile to be a pioneer in free trade agreements. I remember when I was in the armed forces in the 80s, General Pinochet dispatched a naval attaché to Singapore. So I asked him, I said, what for? He said, no. Our president thinks that Asia will one day become very important to Chile. And every year, the Esmeralda, the midshipman ship, the tall ship, will sail to Singapore. And little by little, it became clear that that assessment was a correct assessment. So whether it is FTAs or APEC, or the widening of the Panama Canal, or the road from Brazil to Peru, or 1,000 other initiatives, the river of globalization, slowly but steadily and inexorably, is finding its way to the sea. And I think FEALAC is one channel through which it flows. We have got to do many things. First, we've got to know one another. So we must visit each other. Every year in Singapore, we have Latin America Business Forum. Not very big, but interesting for those who attend, and profitable for some. We've heard from Samuel that Panama is having an Asian center. I think that's very useful. And we need many more centers. In Latin America about Asia, and in Asia about Latin America. We have a journalist program to encourage journalists from Latin America to visit Singapore, and through Singapore to visit other countries in East Asia. We cannot be dependent only on European and North American news agencies for us to learn about one another. Because if we depend on them alone, we will only receive bad news. Because it's only bad news which travel. So we need direct contact. And with instantaneous media, that direct contact now is at our disposal. So when an earthquake happens in Peru, immediately our hearts go out to the people of Peru. When Korean hostages are treated in a contemptible way in Afghanistan, there is an immediate common sense of solidarity. So we need people to meet, we need to enable, to make use of the means available at their disposal, and to seize opportunities. The game is those who are faster to seize opportunities, they benefit the most. And I believe FEALAC will open for many of us new opportunities which we might otherwise not be aware of, and in this way help benefit our people. Because in the end, that's what it's all about. Do we create jobs? Are we able to attract more investors? It was fascinating listening to President Lula earlier, and how his mind, like a stream of consciousness, flowed. First from Latin American integration, links with Africa and the Middle East, and India and East Asia, to the G20 initiative. From different vantage points, each of us, following the pressure of globalization, is seeking out new patterns which can benefit ourselves, and in the process, we benefiting one another. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Definitely.